All right, welcome back, everyone, to Toy Informer, and welcome to the first episode in what is a brand new series that I will be doing occasionally on this channel. This is going to be the world of weird collectibles. Now, we did this as a segment on TAC a few times and covered some oddball things, some collectibles that are outside the norm. We're not talking about toys specifically. We're not talking about comic books, but those stranger things, those lunchbox, trapper keepers we've talked about, vintage t-shirts have been covered, skateboard decks we've done before, and I might redo some of those topics going forward. But for our very first episode here is another collectible that's something I used to do. I unfortunately don't do it any longer. I got a little bit older, so it wasn't as much a priority to me, but I used to be an avid collector of Nike skateboard dunks. So those sneakers, basically. Sneakers. I used to love buying sneakers. All different kinds. I used to love having a fleet of different colored Nikes, Pumas, etc. But as like I said, I got older. Priority shifted. Got a kid. Can't be buying all those little extra things like that for myself, especially when I have a very significant comic book habit as well as a little bit of a toy habit as well. So some things had to go. Sneakers being one of them, but we are still going to cover them here. I'm going to run down the top 10 most expensive Nike skateboard dunks that you can go out there and buy. I found most of this information on StockX, as well as a few of my personal collection. So hopefully you enjoy this series and everything we have coming forward. Please let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you like, you subscribe, you hit the alert button so you don't miss anything. Keep telling your friends so we can keep growing this tiny little channel. And if you haven't tried Whatnot yet, now's your chance. Use my link below. You get a free $15 on me to buy whatever you want from whomever you want. No strings attached. Give the app a try. You get a free $15 and you'll help out the channel. You really got nothing to lose, which is why I keep bringing it up at the beginning of every show. Because again, it's free. It's free for you all to try. And with that all said, if you are ready for my very first episode of the World of Weird Collectibles, just hang on for a few seconds after the intro, and I will be right back. Okay, so let's just get started and start looking at some sneakers. Oh man, I'm telling you, I used to love collecting these things. So without further ado, we're going to start off first with our honorable mention. Now, this is one that I just thought was very interesting and thought was fun to talk about, and that is the pair of Freddy Kruegers. Yes, they made a pair of Freddy Krueger dunks. As you can see, it has the classic green and red striped sweater pattern on it. We have blood spatter, that weird burnt leathery look. Beyond that, even on the insoles, they give you that burnt flesh pattern that Freddy Krueger is known for. It's these weird attentions to detail that make collecting sneakers fun. I never had a pair of these. I wish I did. I'm a big Freddy Krueger guy. It was my favorite horror series as a kid, more so than Friday the 13th or Halloween. I was a Nightmare on Elm Street kid. So Dream Warriors, all that stuff. I loved Freddy Krueger back in the day. But these came out at $110. Recent sales averages. So the sold prices here that I'm providing, again, I grabbed most of this data from StockX, which is it's a site you probably all well know. But this is the sold average recently for these, which is $1,740. So $1,700 is the average sale price for the last few sales on these Freddy Kruegers. And there's a copy listed right now that's asking for $138. $138,000. I'm sorry. $138,000. Yes. Repeat that. $138,000. I think it's a bit steep, but that's what's listed. Just because it's an asking price doesn't mean that's what it's going to sell for, but that's the cop. There's a pair out there that's what they're seeking. And again, here's another final look at this pair of really cool dunks. Even like the sweater pattern is a different fabric than the norm. It's not leather. It has that nice little looks like the sweater fabric. So really nice attention to detail here. And then you got the blade swoosh too, to go with his claws. I think these are really cool. And again, I wish I had a pair, but at these prices, like I said, I can't swing it. But those are an honorable mention. Again, this list is going to be a top 10 rundown, but we are going to be running them down based off of the recent average sale price. So as you can see here, this is an average of $1,700 thereabouts, despite the ask, which is higher than any other pair that we have on the list coming. But we're not going off the ask. We're going off of what's sold. So with that said, let's move on from our honorable mention and get right into our number 10 pair of shoes, which is this Supreme Blue Stars. Yes, they're high tops. They're high top dunks in this case. Powder blue, some gold stars behind it. There is a red version of these as well out there, but we're not talking about the reds. We're talking about the powder blues. These bad boys here with the Supreme, and you get that nice little metal. I don't know what to call it. It's almost like a tie. It's like a tie clip, but for shoes. It's right there down there on the laces. I'm sure you can see it. But $75 when they came out. Average sales recently $3,300. There is a pair listed on StockX again for $3K right now. So $3,300 is our starting point. That's what I'm talking about with these sneakers. Thousands of dollars. There are tons and tons of dunks that have been released over the years. A lot of fun things, special things, but there are copies that go from hundreds to thousands. And right now, doing the top 10, we're talking thousands. So buckle up for some high prices. Once again, pretty cool pair of shoes. I wasn't a big fan of the high tops. I always got the low tops. They're very, very comfortable. You didn't even have to tie them. You just kind of tuck the laces in, slip them on, and they were comfy as anything. They're very well cushioned. I loved them back in the day. High tops wasn't really my thing, but I could see the appeal. All right, that's number 10. Number 9, we've got a different pair coming in, and this is a pair I always wanted. And back in the day, we're talking early 2000s when I used to get into collecting sneakers and things like that for my wardrobe. Not collecting as in the sake of keeping them on a shelf. I wore these. I wore my dunks. I liked wearing them out. And a pair I always wanted, but at the time, they were a few $100s, and I just could not justify it. That was these. They were called Tiffany's at the time, but the Diamond Supply Company, these are just awesome. I just really, really wanted these. I thought they were cool. I thought of a bunch of different outfits I could wear with this. Yeah, I know it was a weird, peacocking time of my life. It was a pre-marriage and all that fun stuff. So I liked, I like to dress up and look good and style myself with these expensive sneakers. But yeah, I always wanted these. But even at the time, like I said, they were a few $100s. And now, despite the fact that they were $65 when they came out, these things now sell for $3,300. Average sales right now, $3,325. Currently, there's a pair listed looking for a little over $3,400, almost $3,500. It's a lot of money for a pair of sneakers. And again, you have to find them in your size. That's the other tough bit about sneaker collecting is, yeah, if you're just collecting, you can buy any size and it doesn't matter. But if you actually want to put them on, you got to find a pair in your size too, which limits your pool even more. So definitely a lot of weird little niches and corners we can get into with the whole sneaking collecting world. I am not an expert by any stretch. Like I say, most of the things on my channel here, I am an enthusiast more so than an expert. I do have a decent wealth of knowledge, but I am not going to pretend I know everything about everything. So if I make mistakes, misspeak, I do not mind in the slightest if you put a correction in the comments down below. I'd rather the correct information be out there than hurt my ego if I said something wrong, because I do misspeak from time to time because I don't script this. This is just me sitting here talking off the cuff based off of the prices and data that I grabbed. And I'm just going through this deck along with you and just looking at some cool stuff. So with that, always wanted these. I always wanted these. Yeah, this was the pink box times. There was also there was a thing here with there were like different eras of the dunks where the pink boxes and the black and purples. They had the original, the original orange boxes, I guess. And then I think there were the brown box. A lot of different eras for the boxes, and then even some editions got special boxes. So again, a lot of extra weird things you can get into with sneaker collecting. But like most dunks you can see here in this picture, pairs usually came with an extra set of laces, so you can swap them out, go with a different look if you wanted to. So you had the black laces on these, or you can go with those teal ones as well. I probably just would have stuck with the black laces because I like that that contrast against the teal. But yeah, I never had these, though I wanted them. And I remember at the time, Diamond Supply Company. I remember these were, like I said, $300-400 at least from my memory. but now 3K. So maybe I should have bought them. With that said, let's get on to number 8. And number 8 is something that really isn't my style. I'm more of a purist in the form of I just like sneakers and want to wear them. These would make me nervous in wearing these outdoors. These are the Grateful Dead Bears. Also, multiple color variations on these as well. I'm talking specifically about the orange ones here because the orange ones go for more than I think there's pinks and some blues. Might even be green. I'm not sure, but the oranges are the most expensive of the bunch, so that's why we have them here at number 8. And yeah, 110 bucks when they came out. 30 almost 3400 is the average, and right now you actually can get a pair for under 2K, which is not too bad if you're shopping for these. Again, it's just that fuzziness. You can see like the fuzzy orange. I feel like it's just a vacuum. It's just gonna a magnet for dirt, like dirt and stains and wet things would ruin these so quickly. I would think. You can only wear them indoors at special occasions. You're just like you'd have to bring these shoes in a bag and put them on when you got to the place you were going to inside because you wouldn't want to wear them outside and worry about puddles and grass and dirt and all the normal things you would find on the street because I would be nervous with these ones. Again, with that fuzzy bits on these Grateful Dead shoes, but they are pretty cool, especially if you're a Grateful Dead fan. And you can see here little added extras with inside the tongue there. You got the Grateful Dead logo, etc. So a lot of fun attention to details here with these dunks. And again, it's a fun little hobby if you're into it. With that said, let's get on to lucky number 7. And lucky number 7 are a food themed option. There actually were a couple of versions of these, but the versions we're looking at here are the concept Red Lobsters. So yeah, they kind of went with the theme of making these look like lobsters, including the rubber band that would keep the claws closed. Again, little attentions to details. And you can see you can see a little tease of the picnic table pattern inside these sneakers as well. But we'll give you a different look at it as these were 125 bucks when they were offered for people to buy. Average sales now 36.83. Right now there's a pair asking 3,500 bucks. So again, thousands of dollars for these. And yeah, they look like lobsters, right? I mean, you got the lobster pattern with the speckling and the different shades of red as the lobsters cook. And as you can see here from the back, there's that picnic table pattern on the insoles inside liner of these sneakers. So again, the insides a lot of times are just as fun as the outsides, even though nobody gets to see them, while you're wearing them. But still a fun little thing, for you. So if you like collecting these for you, again, that's all you need. All right, with that, let's move on to number 6. And number 6, these are another really cool pair. Yes, the color scheme is a bit out there and may not go with, most of your regular outfits. But these days, this is people really peacock with their sneakers, and they're just bright, flashy pinks and reds. I mean, watch an NBA game these days. Like, shoes don't match their unis. They're just out there with the brightest shoes they could find, all highlighter neon colors. And these also would have stood out. Even it would stand out today. And with the oranges and the purples, these are the Day of the Dead, obviously celebrating. I don't speak Spanish, but you know what I'm talking. The Mexican Day of the Dead. I can't think of it in Spanish right now, but you know what I'm talking about. And these are really cool, and they are also expensive. 80 bucks when they come out. Now averaging about $3,800, and there's a copy listed asking almost 4K. $4,000 for these. And again, you see all the little skeletons and the detailing with the oranges and the purples, black swoosh. Awesome. I'm going to zoom in here for you on this pic so you can see a lot of the little skeleton details there in between the laces and down the sides. And you can see the texture pattern there on the swoosh has a bit of that snakeskin kind of vibe. Really cool pair of sneakers, but almost $4,000. With that said, that was our top half of the list. Let's get to the lower half of the list with now number 5, right? Yeah, because that was 6. So let's get into number 5 with them. Kind of generic looking shoe. I will admit this. They're not the flashiest pair, but these were OG originals. These were kind of early on in the process. So number 5, the MediaCom ones. This is way before all of the world became obsessed with hashtags, etc. So that little @ symbol was, unique at the time. And on these, I mean, yes, mostly blue with the little orange highlights. These things cost $60 when they came out in early 2000s, and average sales now 41.23. $4,123. I believe I only saw one recent sale in the last few months that got that price, but it still got that price. And currently, somebody's asking around 1,800, so it's potentially going to go down in the average sale price value if that actually sells. But for now, for today's purposes, as I'm doing this on August 7th, to air this on August 8th on the channel, but these are number 5 because of that $4,100 average. So with that said, we can look here at the back and you can see that at logo again. I love the detailing when they do put something sewn into the back side of the sneaker. It's a nice touch. It's not available on all dunks, and the ones that do are kind of special. And a lot of the ones I bought have something there because of that reason, because I am a big fan of it. I'm also a big fan of when it doesn't say Nike on the back, if they put something else there. So with that, we'll get to that as we come to different options. But that was number 5. And let's just keep rolling to get us to number 4 before I can show you mine. Because I don't have any in the top 10. I'll admit it. I don't have any in the top 10 personally because, well, I just wasn't lucky enough to purchase them. And I just can't afford them now. So, yeah. Another pair of early originals. We have the Supreme White Cements. So yes, you look at those cements. What does that remind you of? Reminds you of those early Air Jordans, right? You get that cement pattern there on the sneakers. I remember wanting those so much when I was a kid, wanting Jordans. But Jordans and Nike Airs you could only get in adult sizes. And I remember when I was a kid at the time in early age, like I was still wearing kid sizes. So they didn't make Nike Airs for kids. They made Nikes, and some of them that were kind of similar, but at the time they didn't do. Now you could buy toddler Jordans that aren't even really sneakers. You can spend $60 for just like what amounts to a leather sock that looks like the current Jordans for a baby, like a newborn. Back in my day, they didn't do that. So you had to wait till you got to the adult size to get your Jordans and or your Nike Airs. But sidetracked there. These Supreme White Cements averaging $4,400 these days when they originally cost $100 back in the day. Currently, pair asking about $5,400, and you can see here with the little bit of a blue highlight there in the background. These are the white cements. I bring that up again because there is an alternate version of these. A lot of these dunks do, as I mentioned before, have alternate color versions, and I'll show you in a second. These are the backs of the whites, and they cost a little bit more than the black cements, which I'll show you, but they don't make the list because I didn't want to duplicate the list and have multiples of the same. So I'm just kind of showing this as a little addition. So you can see here just slightly under the price for the white cements or the black cements. These are even closer to the original, those old Jordans. $65, 4K, thereabouts, sold and asking prices. And you can see there, again, with the black instead of the white, these would probably be more my speed personally, especially for back in the day. I mean, who didn't love, Jordan as a kid? Like, didn't want to be Air Jordan. Like, everybody did. Everybody wanted to be like Mike. With that said, that's number 4. Let's get on to our top 3. And this one, I remember also seeing these when I started collecting these and wanted these, but these were a couple $100. These were like $250, I want to say, at the time of me collecting. So they were already selling at a premium. And these are the Heinekens. So one of the early kind of cross promotions with Nike doing, it's Heineken. So you got the Heineken bottle colors. You got the star there on the back. Again, I love the little back detail with the star where there's something sewn in there. So I wanted these, but a couple $100 I didn't want to spend. $65 when they came out. But as I said, when I was shopping, they were like $250, $300. Now, average sales over $4,700. And currently there's some pair asking over $5,600. So yeah, thousands of dollars. Used car prices for some of these things. Granted, not a very high-end used car, but an old beater nonetheless, or a pair of shoes. You decide what you would like to buy these days. But Heineken's, again, I'll show you the box so you can see. Yeah, perfect cross promotion here. So just fun pair of shoes. Another thing I just want to bring up here as well while we're just going to pause here, because the picture you can see here, those Heinekens look worn. Like, people who put them on, they worn them. Even used shoes sell well. Granted, you might not be getting the thousands we're talking about here, but a pair of used Heinekens that, maybe they're not falling apart, you can still probably get a decent amount of money for them if you were to sell your old shoes, because you'll be surprised what some used shoes could sell for, because people just want, I mean, people buy vintage used t-shirts. They're going to buy old sneakers too, even if they're broken in and worn and not brand new off the assembly line. Just saying. I don't have the prices for what the used ones might go for, but I'm just throwing it out there. I've seen a lot of crazy high sales for some of these harder to find sneakers, even worn and beat up. And another side note, while we're talking about this, you also got to watch out for counterfeits, because there were a lot of counterfeits even back in the day. There's still a lot of counterfeits now. There's a lot of different sites and videos you can watch that'll show you the difference between the two. It's the risk you run when buying things online, but just throwing that out there to watch out for counterfeits. No, if you're going to spend this kind of money on a pair of sneakers, know what you're looking for. And really, I highly recommend doing your research first before you go spend crazy money, because I even had to do research even when I was looking to spend like $100 or $200, because it's, to me, it's a lot of money, and I want to just throw it out to go buy some knockoff Temu version of the sneakers. But with that said, that's number three. Let's get into our top two. And our top two is another pair of high tops. So again, for a couple of different reasons, these personally wouldn't have been my speed, but coming in at number two, the 420 reverse skunk dunks. Yeah, these were actually numbered, as you can see here. So you had numbered pairs of sneakers, which is another little add-on and addition here to make these even more limited. And they're high tops. So again, that's, for me, is not really my thing. Two, I don't like this, again, this texture, this almost felt kind of like material, I want to say. Just seems like it would attract, again, all of the staining and dirt and things. Because again, I'd be wearing these sneakers. I wouldn't just be storing them on a shelf or putting them in a glass case. These would go on my feet and I'd wear them out into the world. At least that was my original plan with them when I used to collect this stuff. But these 420 skunks came out at $170. Now the average is just over $5,000. There's a pair looking for 4,500 right now, so still in that same kind of range. Thousands of dollars for a pair of sneakers. You just, again, you got to make sure you know what you're looking at. And I think the numbered nature of these kind of help, with the validity of buying real pairs as opposed to knockoffs. But also know that this came with a special edition box, which I will show you here as well, with a little skunk pattern. I think there's also a print inside and a sticker. So if you can get all those extra little add-ons as well, it would even increase your, the value of your pair of sneakers. And you can see the green laces tucked in there at the back, because like I said, all of the dunks came with two sets of laces, and they were different colors. So you can, accessorize them how you want it to. Make them a little more, your speed, whatever fit you best. Which leaves us to our number one and most expensive pair of Nike SB Dunks, and that is What the Dunk. Yes, this is just a hodgepodge mashup of all of the weird, eccentric patterns that they had on all these different shoes they did at the time, with extra sewn in bits as well. You can see there's the Lucky 7 that was on another pair, and then you have the pigeons from the original pigeons that were gray and orange. See that right there on the back? I actually have a pair of purple pigeons, but there was no actual pigeon sewn in on it. Watch out, because the counterfeits will have a fake pigeon on the purples when the original purples didn't have that. Again, getting ahead of myself, but you can see all these weird tie-dye patterns and browns and laces and reds and looks like a old 80s couch pattern there on the front. Whatever weird patterns they had at the time got thrown on the dunks, because they are what they sound like. And these two pairs of sneakers also did not match. I will show you the other shoe in a second, as we look at the prices here, as these came out at $120 and average sales are $12,000. Yes, $12,000. Asking prices just under $13,000. So these are some expensive sneakers. And you can see here on the other side, you got a Lucky 13 printed on the front half of it. And then you've got a weird little cactus dude on the back. You have a Heineken star on there as well. You have the gold stars from those gold star pattern, that pair that we also looked at already. We got the concretes from the concretes we also looked at already. Different colors also on the on the soles and interiors as well. These were just crazy mashup. This is the best you can say. Here's a better look at the side here. I'm sorry, not a cactus. It was a little alien dude. That's right. There's little ray guns. That was from the ray guns. Was another pair that I always wanted, but again, they were a couple $100 at the time. The ray guns, and I wanted them because they had this little alien dude on them. But yeah, you can see here, and you got the lime green on the inside. You got the denim on the back. Lot of weird stuff, and big price on these. So here's another look at our dunks. You can even see on the interior too some other mashup patterns where they were even different, because I don't even know if all the ones match. These might be a different pair that I've come across here, but just weird mashups and thousands of dollars. And that was our list. That's the top 10 list of the most expensive Nike Dunks out there for you sneaker collectors and you sneakerheads. But we are not done. I'm going to go into overtime with this first episode and share with you, my personal collection. So we're going to look at some pairs of sneakers that I actually have that fit this category. And we will start off with this guy. So first up, we have the Maple Leaf Central Park. I told you, I like the ones that have the little thing sewn in the back. So that Maple Leaf Park pattern, I liked. Plus, the color pattern was something that's more my speed. The grays, the gray blues, even mixed with the green. I enjoyed these. These were things that I would wear. And I'll show you in a second. $100 when they came out. Now, average sales are just under $600. So again, they're not all in the thousands, but still almost $600 for this pair of sneakers, with a pair asking almost $800 right now. So yeah, on the backs, again, you can see here the green interiors. You got the Nike symbol on the back, but there you go. That's what we're looking at here. And while we're at it, here, let me shift on over for a quick second. I'm gonna have to do some removal of that and give you a different look so I can share with you. That's right. I saved the boxes on these bad boys too. See? Oop, dropped them. But yeah, see? These are worn. You can see I wore these. These are worn in. There's stuff on the bottoms. There's a creasing on the front. So I'm sure I could probably sell these if I wanted to, because they're not in terrible shape. But yeah, these are the ones that I bought as part of my sneaker collection here. And yeah, we got a few more, because I told you I collected these things. So we're going to go back, put my little border back on, and go to the next pair, which I got specifically for St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day one year, I specifically got these, and I wanted to get them in time. And you can see why, based off the color pattern. These are the Iries, I guess we can call them. And you'll see why we call them that in a second. Once again, we have the little heart pattern sewn into the, right near the heel. I love the little details when they sew things in there. These were green and like a beige kind of pattern. They were rough and tumble. This pair looks lighter than this. This is actually more the color pattern than it was. It was more like a tannish, worn in color. It was a little textured as well. But why do these call these Iries? Well, I'll show you in a second. $65 when they came out. Right now, sales averaging and asking about $800. So still not too bad for this pair. And this is another reason why on the back. See, instead of Nike, they have the Irie on the back, which is another thing that sold me on wanting to get these. Because again, they were unique. It was different. And this is something that I just wanted to add to my personal collection of sneakers so I could wear them every St. Patty's Day. And I did for a number of years. And here, I will once again, we'll click on over. And I'll show you. We got the black and purple boxes on this one. This bad boy. These ones are a little more worn in than the others. So you can see here, they're a little more beat up, a little more worn. But yeah, so these are the Iries. We got the harp there I mentioned in the back. You got the ivory on the tail end there. But you can see here, I wore these quite a bit, so they're a little beat up, a little more, some dirt and stuff. I can probably get them cleaned, even professionally, but that's what I got here. And I still have the original orange laces. I think I only put the oranges in there like once or twice to switch them up, but they did have the orange laces as well. But I preferred the beige, normally. All right, so with that, let's just keep it rolling. I know I'm just doing this for my own edification at this point, but hey, I don't know. Maybe you guys find this fun. What's our next pair that I bought for myself? The Eclipses. That's right, Lunar Eclipse East. Bring this up because there's actually an East version and a West version. I got the East because I like the darker patterns here with the darker blues and grays and blacks. These, when they came out, were $75, averaging now about 900. There's a pair asking $1,100, as you can see below. Yeah, very, very white, very, very bright on the laces there. You could switch those out. There were a different pair of laces on these, and you can see on the interior here in the back, we have that moon pattern. Once again, it's that sewn in feature on the back that I thoroughly enjoyed. These were the Easts. The Wests were the opposite. I'll show you here. These were mostly white, and they faded to dark. So you can see here, mostly light on the West. These are actually a little more expensive, but I had the Easts. I'm also on the East Coast, so I felt like it was more appropriate for me. $75, 13, and 1,100. As you can see the numbers down below. Not going to get too much into those prices right now, as we're just talking for fun, right? Now, let me show you my pair of these. We'll take this off, go back to here again, grab my box. Now, this is a pair I was always suspicious of when I bought them because they just felt different than the rest of my sneakers. So I always worried that these ones were potentially counterfeit from back in the day. I don't know for certain. Was never able to tell positively one way or the other. It was just there's something that felt differently about these than the other ones. Like I feel even now I can feel them. They feel a little heavier than my other Dunks did. So, but anyway, these were the Lunar Eclipse, the dark version. You can see here again. I wore them, so they're worn in, beat up. Oh, I did leave the white laces in. I thought I swapped those out, but no, left the white laces in. You got the feature and like with the Eclipse on the side there. These were again really cool, and I do still have the black laces included inside there with them. But I don't know. I was always suspicious that these ones weren't real when I bought them. I forget where I bought them online, but I do remember when I did purchase them. I'm like, I don't know. When they came in, they just didn't feel the same. But almost done. Don't worry. I've only got two more for you. Two more, and then I'll let you get about your day. So our next ones, these were a personal favorite of mine. I used to love wearing these. You can even ask my wife. I wore these on our early dates, just an excuse to wear purple because I liked purple at the time. It was like the 2000s. Like purple was cool. These were the purple pigeons. These are the ones I mentioned before. There is no pigeon sewn in on the side. I did want those original pigeons because they had the pigeon sewn in on the side. But again, at the time, those were also expensive, like $350. They weren't quite as much as Tiffany's, but they were right in that same ballpark as the Heinekens. I remember when I was looking, and the Ray Guns. So there again, they're a little more than I wanted to pay for a pair of sneakers. So I went with the purple pigeons. Plus, they were purple, so I thought they were cool, and then it gave me an excuse to wear purple. These cost $65 when they came out, but now average sales $1,450. There's a pair asking $2,500 right now. I wish my pair was in better shape, and I wish I didn't love them as much as I did and wore them as much as I did because $2,500 wouldn't be bad. I will admit that. Here are the backs, just so you can see the backs. Again, they were like nice next texture here on the material. I love the grays and I love the purple. And yeah, here, you know what? Let's go on and just get to showing you mine because I have them right here. Again, almost done. One pair after this. Box is even dusty because it was up on the shelf, so I still got the dusty old box that these bad boys were in. Once again, here, the extra laces. Again, you can see I got the Nike SB on there. These were the dark laces. I always went with the light laces. And yeah. So you can see I wore these quite a bit. They're not that bad, actually. But I did wear these a lot. But you can see there's the almost like a velvety sort of texture. You can see the uh, suede leather there, and you got the on the backs, on the side. I don't know. I'm not a sneaker guy to show off sneakers. Again, I just wore these and thought they were cool. Pretty fun pattern inside. I didn't even get to show you that on some of the other ones, but inside you got pretty cool pigeon pattern there and purple bottoms. And yeah, those were one of my favorites. I used to like to wear a lot, even though they're in really good shape. So I also did take care of them quite a bit. Which takes me to my last pair. The last pair I want to talk about today before letting you go, and that is this pair, Slam City. These were my favorite. I wore these almost every day. These were like my go-to. I just threw these on. These were so comfortable, well worn. They had that the front. I don't. You can't really tell. It was like a really rough and tough like leather, so it took a lot of beating. There, the front, the black paneling there on the front. Even the teal suede was tougher than normal. Um, I remember wearing this and to meeting my father-in-law, and he thought I was wearing sandals because you can see this, you can see the color of it, and you see this color of me. So he thought I was wearing sandals when I had these things on. I'm like, no, they're sneakers. They're my dunks. But these things cost $70 when they came out, and now average $1,200. And there's a pair listed for $3K. This is what a brand new, shiny new pair would look like. My pair, unfortunately, is no longer with me. I wore these to death to the point where they started to rip from the sole. So I actually had to scrap these and donate them to the heavens. So did not keep these, but these were my favorite pair. Again, I wore them all the time. And you can see there's a little bearded skateboarding Jesus dude there on the front. That was always kind of fun. And inside these things, there was a London street map because Slam City was a skate shop, I believe, in the UK, and inside the soles was a little map that shows like the River Thames and all that fun stuff, showing where the skate shop was. Again, fun little features, and you had the little bearded look Jesus looking dude on them. I love wearing. I told you, I love wearing these. But yeah, I no longer have them. No longer have them, despite the fact that they would have been worth quite a bit of money. But I love them quite a bit. Would love to get them back, but I don't think I can pay that kind of money for a pair of sneakers these days. But since I don't have them any longer, I cannot show you my pair. But what I can show you is something else a little bit fun and unique. Because again, I told you, I was a big sneaker collector back when I was younger. And my wife is also aware of this fact. So much so that I got some Nike IDs made specifically for our wedding. So as I was all tuxedoed up, getting married, apart from having my Green Lantern cufflinks, which I still have, I got a pair of specially made dunks made for myself for the wedding. I believe for the actual ceremony, I think I wore the the dress shoes with the patent leather shiny shoes to go with the tux. But once that ceremony was over and we got to the reception, I had these bad boys right here. So yeah, you can see. I don't know if you can tell see the little pattern there. So you had a nice little like paisley weddingish white pattern. We have the patent black leather. We have the shiny silver swoosh, the shiny silver on the back with the Nike. And yes, that was something I had engraved on the side, Mr. Ward, my wife's maiden name. So everybody, some of our friends used to call me Mr. Ward, even though, yeah, my wife took not my name, but for the sake of our purposes here, I took her name on my sneakers. So fun little add-on. And again, haven't worn these since I believe the day I was married. So these haven't been used in 15, 14 years or thereabouts. Oof. But this shows you how much I did love collecting my sneakers. And just kind of fun stuff, right? And with that all said, I'll let you go now. I'm not going to keep you in talking about sneakers any longer. Hopefully you enjoyed this show, and hopefully you look forward to the next one. I don't know what we'll do next. I might put up a poll to get some options of what you guys might want to see. We could redo some old topics that I've covered before, like I said, trapper keepers, lunch boxes, etc. But for now, it's just a fun little collectible thing that I want to do. This is stuff outside of comics that I like talking about, even outside of toys, that hopefully you guys here on Toy Informer will allow me to stretch into. Because I know most of you probably just want to see toys, and now you're going, why are you showing me sneakers? I'm here for toys. We can collect different things. We can be into a lot of different things. Tell me some suggestions of things you want to hear more about, and I'll look into it. I don't have to be a personal collector of a topic for me to do some research and look into it, because I am fascinated by all collectibles. I just love the idea of collecting. I have that tick. I have that gene that many of us have, where you just can't get just one. It's you collect, you know? Not many people still will collect a full run of cards, for instance. Everybody, card collecting market, everybody, they just wants the inserts, they just want parallels, they just want to flip that. Not me. If I start collecting cards, I want the whole set. So I'll have to go and buy to actually get the base set still. Like, I'm that sort of person, like base set collector, original comic run collector. I don't know. I think we should use and enjoy the things that we collect, along with display them and show them off. That's all. But with that all said, like I said, a lot of fun stuff, more of our ideas on the way, but I'm open to taking your suggestions as viewers as well. So let me know what you think, and let me know what else you guys want to see. And with that, I will see you all next time. All right.